Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Qayyim Aziz bin Muhammad Izlan. For today, I will be presenting about approximate estimating in construction. This presentation is to be presented to Dr. Izzat Fahmi Ahmad. Definition of approximate estimating and its importance in the construction industry. Approximate estimating is a method used to predict the total cost of a construction project at an early stage when detailed drawings and specifications are not yet available. It relies on limited information such as floor area, building volume, or functional units, and uses historical cost data or standard unit rates to generate a quick cost estimates. In the construction industry, approximate estimating is highly important because it helps clients, developers, and consultants make early financial decisions. It provides a quick overview of the potential cost of a project, allowing stakeholders to determine whether the project is financially feasible. Additionally, it is useful for comparing different design alternatives, preparing feasibility studies, and conducting preliminary discussion with contractors or investors. By providing early cost indications, it supports better budget planning and reduces the risk of financial overruns in later stages. The purpose of approximate estimating at the early stage of a construction project is the primary purpose of the approximate estimating is to provide an initial prediction of the total project cost based on limited design information. This helps clients and stakeholders assess the feasibility of the project before committing significant resources to detailed design and construction. It also plays a crucial role in guiding architects and engineers to design buildings that align with the client's budget. For investors and financial institutions, approximate estimates are important for securing funding or attracting investment since they provide a reasonable indication of the required capital. Moreover, it allows for comparison between different design options or construction methods, enabling informed decision making early in the project planning process. In construction, several approximate estimating techniques are used at the early stage of a project to quickly predict cost. The four commonly used techniques are: first, the unit method, which uses cost per functional unit; second, the floor area method; third, the cubic method; and fourth, the story enclosure method, which consider the relationship between the floor area and the building enclosure. Now let me explain each method in detail with example. The unit method is one of the simplest estimating techniques. It works by multiplying the number of functional units, such as classroom, hospital beds, or hotel rooms, by the standard cost per unit based on previous similar project. This method is suitable for buildings with repetitive units like schools, hospitals, or hotels. For example, if each classroom costs 50,000 ringgit to build and the school has 20 classrooms, the estimated cost will be 20 times 50,000, which equal to 1 million ringgit. The floor area method is one of the most widely used techniques. It works by multiplying the total floor area of the building by the cost per square meter. This method is commonly used for residential buildings, office blocks, and commercial buildings. For instance, if a residential building has a total floor area of 1,200 square meters and the standard cost rate is 1,800 ringgit per square meter, the estimated cost will be 1,200 times 1,800, which equals 2.16 million ringgit. The cubic method is used when the building volume is a significant cost factor. The total volume measured in cubic meter is multiplied by the cost per cubic meter. This method is suitable for warehouses, auditoriums, and industrial buildings where the height and overall enclosed volume impact construction costs. For example, consider a warehouse with dimension of 50 meter by 30 meter by 8 meter. The total volume is 12,000 cubic meter. If the cost per cubic meter is 350 ringgit, the estimated cost will be 12,000 times 350, which equal to 4.2 million ringgit. Lastly, the story enclosure method is slightly more advanced. It estimates cost based on the ratio of the floor area to the total building enclosure, which includes wall, floor, and roof. The larger the enclosure per square meter of the floor area, the higher the cost. This method is most suitable for multi-story office building or commercial complexes. For example, if the floor area is 1000 square meter, the enclosure cost rate is 2000 ringgit per square meter. The total estimated cost will be 1000 times 2000, which equal to 2 million ringgit. For the advantages and limitation, the unit method is the simplest and the fastest estimating techniques. The advantages are it is very quick and easy to use. It requires very little design information, making it useful at the earliest stage. It is suitable for feasibility studies, especially for projects with repetitive units such as schools, hospitals, or hotels. However, its limitations include it is less accurate because it assumes all units are identical in size, quality, and specifications. It does not consider material quality, finishes, or location factors. It depends heavily on historical cost data, which may not always be current. As for the floor area method, is widely used in the industry. The advantages are it is simple and quick to use, especially when only the total floor area is known. It is suitable for residential buildings, offices, and commercial buildings. It is good for comparing different building design at the early stage. The limitations are it has become less accurate for irregular shape or multi-level buildings. It does not consider construction complexity or high-quality finishes. The cost per square meter is based on average rates, which vary depending on location and market condition. As for the cubic method, is more suitable for buildings where height significantly influences cost. The advantages are it is more accurate than the floor area method for warehouses, auditorium, and industrial buildings where volume matters. The limitations are it requires more measurement because the building volume must be calculated. It can be misleading for irregular or decorative buildings. Like other methods, it relies on average cost rates, which may not reflect unique site conditions. Lastly, the story enclosure method provides a more realistic cost because it considers the ratio of the floor area to the total building enclosure, including walls, floors, and roof. The advantages are it is best suited for multi-story office or commercial buildings where enclosure affects cost significantly. The limitations are it requires detailed enclosure measurements which might not be available at the early stage. It depends heavily on accurate enclosure cost data from similar projects. It is slightly more complex compared to the other approximate methods. For this project scenario, I applied floor area method, as it is suitable for early stage estimating when the total floor area is known. According to Appendix 2, the grand total floor area of the proposed building is 1,505 square feet, which is approximately 139.83 square meters. Using the average construction cost rate of 1,600 ringgit per square meter, the calculation is straightforward. 139.83 times 1,600 equal to 223,728 ringgit. Therefore, the estimate total project cost is around 223,728 ringgit. However, the estimate is only approximate, and its reliability depends on several factors. First, the location. Since the project is in Kota Baru, construction costs may differ from urban areas like Kuala Lumpur. Second, inflation and market condition. Material and labor prices can change over time. Third, material quality and finishes. If high quality finishes are chosen, the actual cost may be higher than the estimates. Fourth, the design complexity. This is a standard single-story residential building which increases reliability. And lastly, the accuracy depends on using updated cost data from recent projects in the same region. Overall, this method gives a good early stage cost prediction, but should be refined later using more detailed estimating methods. In conclusion, approximate estimating plays a crucial role in predicting project costs at the early stages when full design information is not yet available. Different techniques are suitable for different project types. For our project scenario, this floor area method was the most appropriate because the floor area was provided. The estimated total project cost is approximately 223,728 ringgit, based on a total floor area of 139.83 square meters. However, the reliability of these estimates depends on several factors, including location, inflation, material quality, design complexity, and whether the cost data is updated. To improve the accuracy of approximate estimating, several steps can be taken. First, always use updated cost data and adjust from inflation and location factors. Second, cross-check the results using more than one method, such as comparing with the story enclosure method. Third, incorporate preliminary design details and consider material quality and finishes where possible. And finally, continuously review and refine the estimate as the project design develops and more information becomes available.